back again. I am sorry it took me a long time to upload another video. It's been Christmas, so Christmas was crazy, and then it was just kind of getting back into the swing of things. But I am like midway through, I think part 2 or 3. I forget the parts because I'm listening to Mistborn. But I just want to talk about a few things that I've kind of found along the way as I'm re-listening to it, or listening to it for the first time, rereading it technically. But I just want to talk about a few things in Brandon Sanderson's kind of style so far, and just things that I'm picking up and things that I'm really liking on my reread. So one of the first things that I want to talk about is how Brandon Sanderson, I think I'm going to talk about 2 qualities that I think he's excellent in writing. Because a lot of times I think he gets flack for maybe not being as good of a writer as some other people. Like, I don't think he's as good of a writer as J.R.R. Tolkien, but I do think he's an incredible storyteller. And one of the reasons why I think he's an incredible storyteller is because on a reread, it's so fun to see everything that you missed for the first time. And I talked about that in the last video, but one of the more interesting things that I've seen is, so in the beginning of part 1, my first read, I just thought that Vin, she more often than not talked about her luck. And so when she became like a Mistborn, it could have been that she was a Misting, but they kind of tested her out. So you don't really know, but it's like she has all these allomantic powers. But I thought it was really interesting how in the beginning, there's actually indications before we know that she's a Mistborn that she is a Mistborn. It says she taps into her luck all the time, which you're like, okay, that is for sure just a Misting. But then it also talks about her inner strength. And then later on, Kelsier and Marsh, they talk about how they knew that she was a Mistborn because she was like tapping into certain things like pewter, and she was, using, I think a copper. She was kind of maybe not doing a copper. Maybe she was doing a little seeking there or something like that. But she was tapping into all these other allomantic reserves. And one of my favorite things is how good Brandon Sanderson is at alluding to things that come earlier or that come later in the text. So like he just gives you hints along the way. And it's the quote that everyone loves that, his bread and butter is there's always another secret. And it's fun on a reread being able to like look under these rocks and see these little secrets that come about. So that's one of my favorite attributes of his writing. Another one that I want to talk about is maybe I don't remember if I critiqued him or not on this one. I think I actually said that he was good on my first read for this, but he's not excellent. But I'm also reading Pride and Prejudice for the first time, and I'm kind of all up about new like flirtation and like banter that people have. And weirdly, I think Sanderson is actually pretty good at writing decent flirtation. Because, and I have to check myself on that a little bit. I don't think he writes it a lot, but the moments that you have, the first little conversation that you had with Vin and Elend, I think hits a lot of really cute and fun beats. I kind of forgot a little bit about the ball scenario in this book, and I'm having a really good time rereading that and just seeing just how fun it is. Like, I'm enjoying it immensely for Vin not really wanting to go to the balls, and then she all of a sudden becomes really good. And I'm excited that she gets to see Elend at all these balls because their flirtation and their banter is really good in this book. It's not like exceptional. It's not like Jane Austen level of good, obviously. But I think, again, one thing that I think Sanderson does is he like taps into a lot of these other authors and what they do best, and he just kind of takes shades of that into his own work. And I think he's a very well-rounded author. Now, I sometimes have little complaints with him. Like, I don't think I am kind of sick of some of the action, but some people love the action scenes in his books. And I know that's kind of necessary for certain books, but I'm like not an action-oriented reader. I don't love a lot of action in my books. Like, I love J.R.R. Tolkien because he doesn't incorporate a lot of action in his books, although it's like very riveting. And I think Sanderson incorporates maybe too much, but I think I'm finding him to be a more well-rounded author than I thought when I initially read him. And that's just fun because on a first read, you kind of skim through it and you're getting the story. And then on the second one now, I'm kind of picking apart his writing a little bit more, and I'm really enjoying it. I think he's a pretty skilled writer. So yeah, I really like that. I just finished the conversation that Vin had with Marsh. So I'm right there in the book. There's been a bunch of things that have come before that I've really liked. Like, I really do like Eden, but he's a little strange in this one. And I remember the first time I read it, I was so distrusting of everyone. So I am more trusting, and it's a more enjoyable read because I don't like suspect everybody under the sun. And it's like I can enjoy almost the team camaraderie a little bit more. Like I enjoy Breeze a lot more, and Dachshund and Ham. Like they're all just great. Even Clubs and his grumpiness, I love him. And I think one of the most interesting parts is the conversation that Vin has with Marsh. And the reason that I think that's interesting is because it's so downplayed in the books. But that is essentially the almost the most important part of the series. Marsh is a seeker, and for Vin to be having this conversation with Marsh, learning about how like these allomantic pulses, and like how you can tell if a person or what metal a person is burning based on the pulses that it comes, like the pushing and the pulling, and the I forgot what he says, the internal versus the external uses of allomancy. Like you can sense that just on the pulses. That conversation just seems so important, and it's interesting too because Kelsier was downplaying it. He's like, "Yeah, you can go." He says he has a few things to teach you, but you know, seekers are like the lowest on the totem pole. But honestly, seekers feel like they're really, really important right now. Seekers feel like they're kind of like the key that unlocks really a lot of what happens in this book. Like this is how the Inquisitors are able to find people, and this is kind of how I think a lot of other small little subplots in the book kind of happen. I'm curious too to see if, because Vin is such a natural seeker, if that's really the reason that she can feel the allomantic pulses. I think that's probably the reason. But it's great. And then all the little epigraphs that you get too in the books, I'm loving those because I know exactly what was going on for them. So it's just fun being able to reread them and know about Alendi and Rashek and just all that. And then there was one that was like, I forgot exactly what the epigraph said, but it said something like, the hero of ages will belong to no one, not even himself. And I was like, oh man, this is like such a really good depiction of Sazid. I think Sazid, not Sazid. I think it's Sazid. But anyway, those are kind of just my general thoughts on it. I'm going to keep doing these. I'm listening on like walks that I take in the car and stuff like that. So I'm like probably a little less than halfway through the book. But I'm just going to keep plowing my way through it. And then I'm going to get to some of the books that I haven't read. And I'm excited to get to those. I just wanted to reread Mistborn just to kind of get my head around it again and kind of get back into the allomancy and the entire world before I read some other stuff. So that's all I got for you today. I'm going to keep pumping these videos out maybe like once a week or so, just talking about my thoughts and my feelings as I read through this book or listen. So subscribe if you want. Like the video too, and I'll see you in the next one.